The latest climate report by the National Weather Agency shows that the average number of days under heat wave conditions in Korea today has more than doubled since the 1970s, while the number of tropical nights has tripled during the same period.
기상청이 발표한 분석 결과에 따르면 우리나라 연간 폭염 일수는 1970년대에 비해 2배 이상, 열대야 일수는 같은 기간 3배로 늘어난 것으로 나타났습니다.
Yeah. So according to weather authorities here, the average summer temperature has risen by an average of 0.28 degrees Celsius every decade since 1973. And, in that 10-year period from 2016 to 2025, most recently, the average number of days under heat wave conditions has more than doubled. And the number of tropical nights has tripled, like the headline suggests. And, these heat waves during the summer are getting much longer. They're starting earlier and they're lasting much later, too.
So people aren't wrong when they say it feels like it's hotter for longer these days.
No.
We didn't have these long tropical nights before. It's true, actually.
The data backs that and supports that argument, yes.
그래요. 1970년대에 비해서 현재 열대야 일수도 3배나 늘었고요. 그다음에 폭염 일수 2배 이상 늘었습니다. 체감상만 옛날에 비해서 많이 더운 것 같다가 아니라 실제로 그런 데이터가 지금 있는 거고요. 표현을 좀 볼게요. Under heat wave conditions.
Yeah, so when we talk about whether we're under a sort of condition, right? That's the circumstance right now. And of course, a heat wave condition would be extremely hot weather, like a heat wave.
이게 바로 그 폭염 일수가 며칠이나 있는지를 얘기하고 있는 건데 under something conditions 그러면 이러한 조건 하에라는 거고요. 여기서 heat wave가 폭염이니까 이런 폭염 일수를 우리가 얼마나 겪고 있는지 그 얘기를 하고 있는 거겠죠.
Yeah.
실제로 이제 예전에 70년대에는 한 8일 정도였다면은 지금은 18일 정도가 된다고 하니까 2배가 훨씬 넘었고요. 2.2배 정도가 되고
Yeah.
그다음에 이제 열대야수 같은 경우에는 예전에는 4일 정도였는데 70년대에는 근데 지금은 한 12일 정도로 우리가 이렇게 열대야를 겪게 됩니다. 그게 영어로는 3배로 증가했다. It's tripled.
Tripled, meaning it's 3 times as large or as much as something. And just to add, these tropical nights are lasting much longer and they last into late August and early September even. So we have about another month possibly of these tropical nights.
Exactly. So when you want to say something has increased by 2 times, then you can say it's doubled.
Yep.
If it's increased by 3 times, it's tripled.
Yeah, and quadrupled for 4. And quintuple, yes.
Yeah. Although I think from 5, you can just say it's increased 5-fold.
Yeah, I think up to quintuple you would accept. I don't know after that, actually.
I'm sure there are numbers, but like I said,
Potentially.
We tend to go for the easier, more commonly used expressions. 숫자가 이제 커지면 커질수록 원래 다 이런 이제 해당되는 표현이 있기는 있겠지만 그냥 5-fold, 6-fold, 7-fold 이런 식으로 해서 it's increased 5-fold.
Right.
이렇게 표현하면 돼요.
Or in business and economic news, you can use X, right? So I wish my stock portfolio would increase by 10X, you would say.
그렇게 표현할 수도 있죠. 이제 5배라는 뜻인데 보통 이제 글씨로 쓸 때 X를 옆에다가 이제 쓰기 때문에 이거를 말로도 할 수 있지만 뉴스에서는 보통 그렇게 표현을 많이는 안 하는 것 같아요.
Stocks, I think, are one exception.
오케이. 주가 얘기할 때는 또 가능하군요. 알겠습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The latest climate report by the National Weather Agency shows that the average number of days under heatwave conditions in Korea today has more than doubled since the 1970s, while the number of tropical nights has tripled during the same period. Here's headline number 2.
The UNESCO World Heritage Committee has officially approved the Phase 2 expansion of Korea's tidal flats, significantly extending the boundaries of the coastal wetlands originally inscribed in 2021 by adding Seosan, Yeosu, Gohung, and Muan.
유네스코 세계유산위원회가 한국의 갯벌 2단계 확대 등재를 결정했습니다. 이로써 2021년에 처음 등재된 지역들에 서산, 여수, 고흥, 무안 지역 갯벌들이 추가되면서 세계유산으로 지정된 연안 습지 면적이 한층 넓어지게 됐습니다.
So if I look a little tired this morning, Sue, it's because I got home late last night from Busan, where I was on the floor. I was in the session when this was officially announced over the
Really?
weekend.
Wow,
Yes,
how
so it was pretty exciting. There's a
Yeah.
lot of jubilation, a lot of applause for this approval by the UNESCO World Heritage Committee because originally it's officially called the Kepol. Korean tidal flats. So the word Kepol is in there. And originally it was Seocheon, Gochang, Sinan, and Bosong, Suncheon.
Yep.
But now it's expanded. And what the committee looked at was that this area, this new area, met strict biodiversity criteria because it's an important habitat for migratory birds, other marine organisms. And if you look at the UNESCO list, you have cultural artifacts, but also natural sort of landscapes like the Ketbar are included as well. So this opens up more area for environmental protection because UNESCO standards are very strict. And the ironic thing is it could get more people, tourists to these regions. But again, like our opening said, make sure when you go to any sort of place like this to, be smart.
Yeah. 그래요. 이제 우리나라의 갯벌 세계 유산, 유네스코 세계 유산 지정이 된 갯벌이 늘어난 거고요. 기존에 이제 네 군데를 얘기를 해주셨죠. 바로 이제 서천, 고창, 신안, 그리고 보성, 순천 이렇게 네 곳이었는데 이제 거기에다가 서산, 여수, 고흥, 무안 지역까지 추가가 됐습니다.
And there are plans to expand it to phase 3 perhaps in the future, which would include areas in Incheon and Gyeonggi province. Too.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, and this is going to protect a lot of the endangered species. 멸종위기, 뭐 철새라든지 이런 멸종위기종을 또 보호하는데 큰 도움이 될 것으로 기대가 되고요. 이게 이제 한국의 갯벌 2단계 확대 등재입니다. 갯벌, 영어로 tidal flats.
Yeah, tidal flats. So it's areas of mud and sand along a coastline that are covered by seawater at high tide, and then when that recedes, it's exposed at low tide.
그래요. Tidal flats. What about originally something?
Yeah, so originally it only encompassed this phase 1 area, meaning in the beginning or before this new change. So at first.
그렇죠. 원래는 애초에 이런 뜻이겠죠. 그래서 originally가 여기서 쓰였습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼까요? The UNESCO World Heritage Committee has officially approved the Phase 2 expansion of Korea's tidal flats, significantly extending the boundaries of the coastal wetlands originally inscribed in 2021 by adding Seosan, Yeosu, Gohung, and Muhan.
Extreme weather and unpredictable winds have fanned massive, out-of-control wildfires in France and Spain, forcing more than 300,000 people to be evacuated.
프랑스와 스페인에서 발생한 통제 불능의 대규모 산불이 극한의 날씨와 변덕스러운 강풍으로 인해 걷잡을 수 없이 확산되면서 30만 명 넘는 주민들이 대피했습니다.
Yeah, we've been talking about these wildfires in Europe now for the past couple of weeks, just on this show too, I think. And it looks like it's not getting any better there because firefighters are battling really erratic sort of conditions. And these blazes are so big, they're creating their own whirlwinds, making it very erratic and unmanageable for these emergency responders. And it's now spread so much, it's on the verge of affecting these major urban areas like the city of Bordeaux in France, as well as Madrid in Spain. In fact, in Spain, a national state of emergency has been declared, and the first fatality, a man in his 70s, was found dead in his vehicle as well. And the EU is also activating its civil protection mechanism to deploy resources like helicopters, water bombers, and emergency crews to help out.
그래요. 지금 프랑스와 스페인에서 걷잡을 수 없는 산불로 인해서 많은 주민들이 대피를 하고 있습니다. 안타까운 인명피해도 있었고요. 자, 그래서 지금 이게 통제가 안 되고 있다라고 할 때 they are struggling to contain the wildfires 이렇게 표현을 할 수 있는데 containing이 이렇게 통제를 한다라는 뜻이 있어서 they're struggling to control it or to contain it 이렇게 표현할 수 있습니다. C-O-N-T-A-I-N. All right. It's quite unpredictable, is what it says.
Yeah, because you don't know where the fire is going to spread. It's unknown and unexpected, and you just don't know. Yeah.
예측할 수 없다 이런 뜻으로 it's unpredictable. What about fanning?
Yeah, so of course we all know what a fan is, but in this case, a fan would be when fires need air, right?
Yeah.
They need oxygen. So if you have ever lit a campfire or if you've ever barbecued before and you fan it, it makes the blaze much stronger. So in this case, it's what's happening is that these flames are becoming more intensified.
불길을 부채질하는 것을 영어로 it's fanning something. The winds have fanned these wildfires in France and Spain. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Extreme weather and unpredictable winds have fanned massive, out-of-control wildfires in France and Spain, forcing more than 300,000 people to be evacuated. Let's move on to the next headline.
NASA has announced that in November 2026, Voyager 1 will become the first human-made object to reach a distance of 1 light day from Earth, meaning it has traveled as far as light can journey in 24 hours.
미국 항공우주국 나사는 보이저 1호가 오는 2026년 11월에 지구로부터 일광일, 즉 빛이 진공 상태에서 24시간 동안 이동하는 거리만큼 멀리 떨어진 곳에 도달하는 최초의 인공물이 될 것이라고 발표했습니다.
Yeah. So NASA launched Voyager 1, believe it or not, nearly half a century ago, back in September of 1977. And it's been traveling now ever since then at an average speed of 61,000 kilometers per hour, believe it or not. And so it's taken this long to reach 25.9 billion, with a B, kilometers, which is the exact distance light travels in one single day, in Earth Day, I should say here, 24 hours. And it's important to point out that one light, or the speed of light, is measured in a vacuum, which wasn't in the English headline here, but
It was in the Korean though.
it was, yeah. And you wonder what fuels the Voyager 1. And basically, scientists used plutonium-fueled generators, which can last a very long time, but it's soon reaching its threshold by the early 2030s. So they're trying to be very efficient with it. But aboard Voyager 1, there's a copper record of sort of humanity with natural sounds, images, and greetings in 55 languages. So any ET or alien that finds it can try to find us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
그래요. 지금 이제 올해 11월 달에 이 Voyager 1호가 굉장히 멀리 떨어진 일광일만큼의 거리에 도달한다라고 했는데요. 지금 언제 출발했는지는 헤드라인에 안 나와 있지만 49년 전에 출발을 했습니다. 49년 만에 일광일만큼의 거리에 도달하게 되는 Voyager 1호 얘기가 되겠습니다. Alright, 거리로 치면은 259억 킬로미터 정도가 된다라고 하고요. It's hard to grasp this kind of length or time, but it's a long way away.
It's very far.
It is. What's something that's human-made?
Yeah, as opposed to something that's artificial. It means that it was created by people, then instead of something natural that occurs.
아, 그래요. 그러니까 인간이 만든 인공적인이라고 할 때 man-made라는 표현을 사실 꽤 오랫동안 썼는데요. 요즘에는 man만 쓰면은 성차별이다. woman은 어디 갔냐라고 해서 human-made라는 표현으로 좀 대체하는 편인데 man-made라고 해도 다 알아들어요. 그렇죠? man-made or human-made, 사람이 만든 이런 뜻이 되겠고요. 자, 그다음에는 it's traveled as far as this.
Yeah.
Travel as far as.
Yeah, so as far as usually you think of you're comparing something, but here in this case, when something travels as far as in the headline, light can journey in 24 hours, one light day, right? It means up to a particular point or a place.
Travel as far as 뭐뭐만큼의 먼 거리를 이동했다라는 뜻이 되겠고요. 여기서는 이제 as far as light can journey in 24 hours. 24시간 동안 빛이 진공 상태에서 이동할 수 있는 거리. 그게 이제 one light day, 일광일이라고 하는 건데요. 사실 우리는 이제 평소에 우리가 쓰는 그런 매트릭 시스템이라든지 그게 아니기 때문에 이게 딱 감이 오진 않을 수 있지만 어쨌든 1977년도에 썼던 요 이제 인터스텔라 그 Voyager 탐사선이 드디어 도착한다.
Yes.
먼 거리다. 저는 이렇게 이해가 되거든요.
Yes.
그럼 될까요?
Right. So, oftentimes in just regular conversation, light day, we would say light years a lot, to kind of describe something that's very, very far away, right? But we're being technical here because we're talking about NASA and science.
그렇죠. 우리가 그냥 비유적으로 굉장히 먼 미래에 아니면은 light years ago도 쓰나요?
Or light years away.
Light years away를 많이 쓰긴 해요. 그러니까 미래형으로 해서. 그러니까 그런 뜻을 담아서 that's light years away. 이러면은 정말 그냥 정말 먼 미래야. 그냥 이런 비유적인 뜻인 거죠.
For example, flying cars. We're not going to see that in our lifetime. That's light years away, you could say.
Exactly. 네, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. NASA has announced that in November 2026, Voyager 1 will become the first human-made object to reach a distance of one light day from Earth, meaning it has traveled as far as light can journey in 24 hours. Let's move on to the final headline now.
A Korean survey report reveals that athlete is now the top career choice for elementary school students, whereas teacher remains the favorite among middle and high school students.
국내 설문조사 결과에 따르면 초등학생이 가장 선호하는 직업 1위는 운동선수인 반면 중고등학생 사이에서는 여전히 교사가 가장 인기 있는 것으로 집계됐습니다.
Yeah, a lot has changed over the past decade because back in 2015, elementary school students, the majority of them preferred to become a teacher. But the latest survey shows that we have athlete and now doctor and digital content creator are the top three. And, over the past 10 years, the proportion of students who actually have dreams or a specific career path, it's declining, which is sort of sad. 78% of elementary school students, 60% of middle, and 71% of high school students say they have a specific or decided on a specific career path. And also, the desire to enroll in university for high school students, that's dropping
going down,
as well because, I think a lot of students are opting to enter the workforce directly or they have other plans for their future. So this could be a good thing or a bad thing, meaning that they have these independent career planning routes that they're choosing.
They do say that children these days will have jobs that don't currently exist. And they may well have more than one job. So the way they'll have jobs and the jobs that they will have may actually be drastically different to the kind of things we're used to seeing or, imagining when we think of jobs. So maybe that's just the way this new generation is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. 그래요. 국내 초등학생한테 이제, 저희 초등학생, 중고등학생에게 설문조사를 해봤더니 초등학생 같은 경우에는 희망 직업 1위가 운동선수였고요. 그 다음으로 의사, 그리고 크리에이터였는데, 비교적 최근에 이런 이제 설문조사를 했을 때 유튜버 되고 싶다고 하는 초등학생도 굉장히 많았거든요. 근데 가장 최근에는 그게 이제 운동선수로 바뀐 것 같아요. 네,
Which is probably the most difficult career path I think one can choose. It's just so competitive and cutthroat.
그렇죠. 축구 선수, 야구 선수, 농구 선수 다 너무 좋죠.
Yeah. When athletes because I like sports, when youngsters ask, I want to become an athlete, I say don't try to, don't strive to be an athlete. You can, but I think bigger and be the person that pays the athlete. Be the team owner.
Okay, 구단주가 되라.
Yeah, of course. It's much more realistic, I think.
Possibly.
We all can't be 손흥민, right?
그래요.
Yeah.
그 다음엔 이제 구체적으로 장래 희망이 있다라고 대답한 학생이 이전 설문조사에 비해서 한 10%포인트 줄어들었다고 해요. 그러니까 구체적인 장래 희망이 없는 학생의 수가 좀 늘어난 모양새고요. 그 다음에는 이제 대학 진학 희망 비율도 조금 줄어들었습니다.
Yeah.
근데 아무래도 이제 요즘에는 학생들이 진로에 대해서도 대학에 대해서 가지고 있는 인식 자체가 예전과 다르기 때문이라고도 해석을 할 수 있을 것 같아요. 단순히 뭐 미래에 대한 생각이 없다 이게 아니라
Right.
좀 다양하게.
And also, a college degree doesn't guarantee a job anymore.
Exactly. Yep. All right. What does the top career choice mean?
Yeah, it means the job or profession or career that someone most wants to have. It's their first or their preferred option.
네. 희망 직업 1위를 영어로 top career choice라고 할 수 있겠죠? And what about whereas?
Something, right?
Yeah,
Whereas,
whereas.
WHEREAS, it's a conjunction. It means when you're comparing or contrasting two things. So you have elementary school students, whereas middle and high school students, so on and so forth.
뭐 그런가 하면 이런 의미인데요. 초등학생들은 이제 가장 갖고 싶은 직업이 운동선수라고 말하는가 하면 중고등학생들 같은 경우에는 교사. 12년 연속 중고등학생들은 1위 희망 직업이 교사입니다.
Yeah, my dream when I was a youngster, my very first dream, I think, was to become a magician.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not.
No,
Because
I like that.
I had seen a
Why not?
magic show and I was just,
Yeah.
captivated. And I said to my dad, I was like, I want to become a magician. And then, of course, what are you talking about? You're going to become a scientist.
Okay.
And he killed my dream of becoming a magician. Yeah.
All right. Did you ever want to become an athlete, a
Of
teacher?
course, I still do.
Oh.
I have dreams of becoming professional golfer.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think that's
Let's
going to happen.
wait and see.
No, you don't have to wait.
자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A Korean survey report reveals that athlete is now the top career choice for elementary school students, whereas teacher remains the favorite among middle and high school students. Well, that's it for the headlines this morning.
The post-monsoon summer peak has brought extreme heat to Korea, driving temperatures up to 38 degrees Celsius in the southern regions and triggering tropical night alerts across most parts of the country.
장마가 끝나고 본격적인 여름 더위가 시작되면서 전국에 폭염이 덮친 가운데 남부 지역 기온은 섭씨 38도까지 치솟았고 전국 대부분 지역에 열대야주의보가 내려졌습니다. Oh dear. It's hot.
It's hot, hot, hot. I opened my front door at 5 a.m. this morning and I was shocked by how hot it was. There was no coolness of the night.
No.
We're already into the tropical nights, as they call them. And we're looking at highs, in Daegu, up to 37 degrees. In Gwangju and Busan, up to 35. Here around Seoul, up to 33 during the day. And, of course, tropical nights for most of the country, meaning above 25 degrees. There is going to be some rain, which will give us a little bit of cool. Looking at 10 to 60 millimeters in Seoul, Gangwon, and Chungcheongbuk-do areas. However, that coolness is only going to last a little while, and then the temperatures are going to go right back up. I'm sorry to say, Sue, we got at least a month of this, if not a little bit longer.
A month. Oh my goodness. When we talk about temperature, degrees Celsius,
Yes.
specifically, 우리말로는 몇 도씨 이렇게 하는데요. 영어로는 degrees Celsius 이렇게 합니다. Another word for Celsius is centigrade. It's the same thing, but I think people normally use Celsius a little bit more.
Yeah, I always get confused because I think growing up we use centigrade a lot more.
In the UK.
Yes, and so sometimes I have to stop and think, which one am I using? What I
It's
know
the
I'm not
same,
using
yeah.
is Fahrenheit.
Exactly. 그래요. 그래서 우리가 이제 몇 도씨다라고 할 때는 예를 들어서 37도씨 그러면은 37 degrees Celsius. 네, 연음이 되기 때문에 degree Celsius 이렇게 S와 C가 붙어서 발음이 되고요. 이제 Fahrenheit 같은 경우에는 화씨죠. 미국에서 쓰는데 그럴 때는 이제 degrees Fahrenheit 이렇게
Yeah.
얘기하면 됩니다.
But in normal conversation in the UK and other places where we use Celsius, you don't actually need to say Celsius if you don't want to. You can just say 37 degrees,
Yep.
40 degrees, 35 degrees. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Exactly. 네, 맞아요. 그래서 그냥 몇 도라고 하려면은 그냥 37 degrees.
네.
우리 각도 말할 때도 온도 말할 때도 똑같은 degrees 이렇게 발음을 합니다. D-E-G-R-E-E-S. E-E-S. Now, what about the word post?
Here we're using it as a prefix, so we have post-monsoon, meaning after the monsoon.
Yeah.
If it's post as a prefix, we're looking at something that's after, as opposed to pre, P-R-E, as a prefix, which means before.
Yep. So post-pandemic. 그러면은
Yes.
pandemic 이후. postpartum. 그러면은 출산 이후. 그래서 그게 산후가 되겠죠.
Yes.
그래서 산후조리원 같은 경우 영어로 설명을 한다면 postpartum care center 이렇게 표현하면 될까요?
Possibly, I'm not sure whether that would go well in commercials. So I think they'd probably say new mothers and babies care
Okay.
center, for example. But technically speaking, postpartum is correct.
네. 근데 이런 산후조리원 자체가 우리나라만큼 잘 돼 있는 데가 없긴 해요. 다른 나라에는.
Yeah, it's something that Korea does so well.
Exactly. 자, 그래서 post something 그러면은 뭐뭐 이후에라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. What's the opposite prefix of post? So something before.
Yeah, as I mentioned just before, pre.
pre.
P-R-E.
그렇죠. 그래서 팬데믹 얘기할 때도 우리가 이제 코로나 시대 이전에라고 할 때는 pre-pandemic 그리고 그 이후에는 post-pandemic 이렇게 얘기를 많이 하고요. 지금은 이제 post-monsoon summer peak라고 했는데요. 지금 장마철이 끝나고 나니
네.
이제는 너무나 더운 이 무더위가 찾아왔다라는 얘기가 되겠고요. This is driving temperatures up.
Yes, and if something is driving something up or driving something down, it's pushing it, it's forcing it in that direction, either increasing it or decreasing it.
Exactly. Drive something up. 그러면은 무언가를 올라가게 하다라는 뜻이 있어서 온도, 기온을 올라가게 하는 무더위 얘기를 하고 있는 겁니다.
Yeah, we've seen prices driven up by the crisis in the Middle East, for example.
Exactly. Another fun expression with drive is drive someone up the wall.
Oh yes, Sue does that to me all the time. Or do I do it to her?
자, 이건 뭐냐면은요. 굉장히 열받게 한다. 이런 거예요.
Yeah, it's when someone is annoying you so much that you want to try and escape any way you can.
제가 이거를 잘하는군요, 선생님한테.
네.
잘해요, 제가? I drive you up the wall?
Often.
그래요?
Every show. No, of course you don't. No, you never drive me up the wall. But I worry some of my jokes could drive you up the wall.
They
Sue.
don't. 그래요. 그리고 이제 drive someone crazy 또 이런 표현도 있는데요. drive가 그러니까 이제 뭐뭐 하게 한다라는 의미로 보시면 됩니다. 자, drive someone crazy 그러면 나를 미쳐버리게 해 이런 느낌이에요. 자, 지금 다시 돌아와서 drive temperatures up. 기온을 올라가게 한다. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The post-monsoon summer peak has brought extreme heat to Korea, driving temperatures up to 38 degrees Celsius in the southern regions and triggering tropical night alerts across most parts of the country. Moving on, this is our second headline.
Incheon International Airport expects over 3.7 million summer travellers to pass through the country's main gateway between July 25th and August 10th, up nearly 2% year over year, with the highest number of daily passengers expected on August 2nd.
인천국제공항공사는 여름 휴가철인 지난 25일부터 8월 10일까지 국내 최대 관문인 인천공항 이용객 수가 지난해 같은 기간보다 약 2% 증가해 370만 명을 웃돌 것으로 예상하는 한편 이 중 가장 여객이 몰리는 날은 8월 2일이 될 것으로 전망했습니다. That's just a few days away.
It is, and during this period, which we're in now, it's going to be on average something like 222,000 daily passengers passing through the airport. And yes, August 2nd, if you're travelling on that day, well, be careful because it's going to be crowded, and that may mean a little extra queuing, a little extra waiting, because it's going to see the largest number of arrivals and departures there on that day.
그래요. 지금 이제 여름 성수기 가장 피크로 보고 있는 그 기간이 바로 지난 토요일 7월 25일부터 이제 8월 10일까지입니다. 이때 이제 방학을 맞이한 학생들도 많고요. 그래서
Sure.
가족 단위로 여행하시는 분들도 많이 계실 텐데 전체적으로는 인천국제공항 이용객이 한 377만 명이 될 것으로 예상이 되고요. 이 기간 안에. 그 다음에 일일 이용객 수 같은 경우에는 이제 바로 다음 일요일이네요. 8월 2일 날 가장 많을 것으로 예상이 되는데, 평균적으로도 한 20만 명 이상씩 이용할 것으로 이렇게 예상이 된다고 하죠.
Yes, and the good thing is that the airport knows this is happening and they have prepared. They're opening departure halls a little bit earlier than usual. They're going to make sure they have enough security checkpoints open. There's going to be more guides. There'll be more helper robots out there.
Yeah.
So even though it's going to be busier than usual on that day, hopefully everyone will get onto their plane on time.
Exactly. All right, let's have a look at the expressions to pass through.
If you pass through something, well, you go into and out of it on your way to somewhere else. You transition through it.
Pass through 인천 airport. 그러면은 인천 공항을 통과하다, 지나다라는 뜻입니다. 그래서 여기서는 이용하다라고 보면 되겠고요. 인천 공항을 the country's main gateway.
Yes, we talk about a gateway, a literal gateway. If you have your own house or you live in a single building that has a gate, it will have that has a fence or a wall. It'll have a gate. It'll have a door. And that gate is your gateway in and out. So we use it for airports or for ports to describe the place where we can arrive and leave.
맞아요. 바로 앞에 인천 인터내셔널 에어포트가 한 번 언급이 됐기 때문에 같은 문장 안에 또 너무 금방 또다시 인천 인터내셔널 에어포트라고 하는 것은 영어식 문장 구조에서는 바람직하지 않아요. 그래서 다른 단어를 쓰는 게 바로 이제 한국의 주요 관문이다. 뭐 이렇게 표현을 했는데 이제 한국의 대표적인 공항이라고 이해를 하시면 되겠습니다.
Can I throw another word in there?
Sure.
It's it's Korea's travel hub.
Yeah, love it. Hub, it means the center of something.
Where everything's happening in and out.
Yep, exactly. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Incheon International Airport expects over 3.7 million summer travelers to pass through the country's main gateway between July 25th and August 10th, up nearly 2% year over year, with the highest number of daily passengers expected on August 2nd.
Housing rents in the Greater Paris region have spiked nearly twice as fast as wages over the past 35 years, creating a severe affordability crisis that forces low-income tenants to spend roughly half their income on rent.
프랑스 수도권의 주택 임대료가 지난 35년 동안 임금 상승률의 2배 가까이 오르면서 주민들의 주거비 부담이 심각한 위기 국면에 접어든 가운데 특히 저소득층은 월소득의 거의 절반을 임대료로 지출해야 하는 상황인 것으로 알려졌습니다. So tell us about the prices going up in France, inflation and housing prices.
Well, this is really serious. They're looking at this from 1984 through to 2020, which means prices may have risen again in the past 6 years.
Yeah.
The median rents were at 3.9 times, whereas your household incomes only grew by 2.0 or 2.3 times, which means it's almost twice the amount compared to what we're earning in terms of how the rent has gone up. Basically, rent has quadrupled, whereas income has only doubled.
수입은 지난 35년 동안 2배 올랐는데 집값은 4배 올랐다고요?
Yeah, so this is, and this means that if you're working very hard but not getting paid a lot, if you're in the bottom quarter, in the lowest 25%, that means on average in Paris, you're having to pay something like 48.5% of your whole monthly income just on rent.
그래요. 여기서 말하는 집값이라는 것은 이제 월세를 얘기하고 있는 겁니다. Monthly rent. 그래서 지난 35년 1984년부터 2020년까지의 데이터인데요. 그 기간 동안에 월세 가격은 4배 올랐고 그 다음에 평균 수입은 2배 올라서 수입이 월세를 따라잡질 못하고 있네요. So it says here that housing rents have spiked twice as fast as wages.
Yes, and if something is twice as fast as something else, it is double the speed. It's so in this case we're talking about the speed of the increase, the speed of the price, or how much you're getting paid, how much that is rising, and it's double the speed when it comes to housing compared to your pay. 무엇보다 2배 빠르게, twice as fast as 무엇.
Now, what's an affordability crisis?
Well, an affordability crisis is when you can't afford things. You don't have the money to pay for the things you need or want.
So when you can buy something, you say you can afford it?
Exactly. And we talk about something being affordable. So maybe back in 1984, rent was affordable in Paris.
Okay, yep.
You know, okay, it's a little expensive, but I can pay for it on
Yeah.
this salary. Now, it is certainly not as affordable as it was and possibly not affordable at all for some people. So we have an affordability crisis.
네. 내가 가지고 있는 돈으로 이거를 감당할 수 있다라고 할 때는 it's affordable이라고 하는 거예요. 이건 주관적이겠죠.
네.
근데 이거는 내 돈으로는 내 수입으로는 감당이 안 돼라고 할 때는 it's not affordable. I can't afford it.
Yeah.
For example, a really expensive car.
Oh, sure,
You might
yes.
say, "Oh, I can't afford that."
Yeah, you're going
Yeah.
shopping with your
Yeah.
friends and you want to buy some new clothes and
Yeah.
you go into the department store and you look at the prices on the fashion brands and you go,
Yeah.
no, that's not affordable for me.
Yeah, exactly. 그런가 하면은 if something is, relatively not cheap, but it's okay. It's within your budget.
Exactly.
Then you can say, "Oh, this is affordable."
I think that's the
Yeah.
that's the key thing, Sue, that you
Yeah.
said. Within your budget, whether it's expensive or cheap, if you can actually pay for it,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether it's a little too much or not enough. It's affordable.
그래요. 그래서 이제 이 주거 비용에 있어서 이걸 감당하기가 좀 힘들어지고 있는 그런 상황이기 때문에 affordability crisis라는 것은 그런 주거 비용의 위기를 말한다고 볼 수 있겠고요. Who's a tenant? What is a tenant?
Well, tenants are the people who rent from landlords. They pay money to occupy a building or a space within a building. So, a lot of people living in Korea are tenants, and quite a few people living in Korea are landlords.
네, 집 주인은 landlord라고 해요. 한 단어예요. landlord, L-A-N-D-L-O-R-D, landlord. 그 다음에 세입자를 영어로 tenant라고 합니다. T-E-N-A-N-T. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Housing rents in the Greater Paris region have spiked nearly twice as fast as wages over the past 35 years, creating a severe affordability crisis that forces low-income tenants to spend roughly half their income on rent. Let's move on to the next headline.
The Normandy beaches in northern France, where the Allied landings on June 6, 1944 marked a decisive stage in the liberation of Europe from Nazi Germany, have officially become a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
1944년 6월 6일 연합군의 상륙 작전이 펼쳐지면서 제2차 세계대전에서 나치 독일로부터 서유럽을 탈환하는 데 결정적인 전환점이 됐던 프랑스 북부의 노르망디 해변이 유네스코 세계유산 목록에 공식 등재됐습니다.
Yeah, we were talking about this all happening in Busan last week when I was on the show. And yes, they have designated these beaches as an exceptional cultural landscape because of what happened back on June 6, 1944. This was the turning point in the war when the Allied forces were able to, start to liberate France and the rest of Western Europe from the Nazis. And so it's about commemorating all those who fought. And we're talking about from people from the United States, from the UK, from Canada, Belgium, Norway, Poland, Luxembourg, Greece, Czechoslovakia, New Zealand, Australia, and the French themselves.
Yeah.
So already these beaches have been a place where ceremonies take place, where occasions where remembrances are held take place. So this, I think, is just protecting the beaches, but also making them more of a focal point when it comes to remembering what happened.
Right. So the Normandy beaches marked a decisive stage in the liberation of Europe from Nazi Germany.
Yes. So if something is decisive, it's the thing that makes the decision. So a decisive stage is the turning point. It's the point when something important is happening. And if we're marking it, we're indicating it. In this case, the storming of the beaches was the indication that there was a turning point.
네. Mark a decisive stage라는 것은요, 어떤 전환점이 됐다라는 뜻입니다. 굉장히 중요한 그런 어떤 무대, 그런 순간이 바로 노먼디 비치스에서 있었죠. 그런 얘기를 하는 건데 이 decisive라는 게 그렇게 굉장히 결정적이다, 중요하다라는 의미가 있는 게 있고요. And what's a World Heritage Site?
Heritage is about the things that we have to remember, the things that are important in our history or our culture. So a heritage site is going to be somewhere, a place that represents a part of our history, our legacy.
그래요. World Heritage Site 하면은 세계 유산 이라는 뜻인데 이 유산입니다. heritage라고 하면은요. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. The Normandy beaches in northern France where the Allied landings on June 6th, 1944 marked a decisive stage in the liberation of Europe from Nazi Germany have officially become a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now let's move on to our final story.
A missing dog named Chong has been joyfully reunited with his Nebraska family 5 years after vanishing, following his discovery at a truck stop more than 1,000 kilometers away from home.
미국에서 총이라는 이름의 실종된 반려견이 실종된 지 5년 만에 네브라스카의 집에서 1,000km 이상 떨어진 트럭 휴게소에서 발견돼 가족들과 감동적으로 재회했습니다. 5 years.
Yeah, it's a remarkable story. He escaped. He ran away back in 2021. His poor owner, Immaculada Jackman, was always looking for him. Could never find him in the neighborhood around their place. And yet, a family friend saw a photo from an animal shelter in Indiana of the dog and went, doesn't that look like Chong? And it turned out to be. So they've managed to rescue their poor pup. It seems like someone else had looked after them because the dog had been microchipped. Okay. And so they had to wait to make sure that he wasn't going to be claimed, but no one claimed him. And so they're allowed to readopt him. He's gone back to Nebraska, all the way from Indiana, 1,000 kilometers away. And now he's settled in with the family again and his new brother, Cheche, another dog.
그래요. 5년 동안이나 행적을 알 수 없었던 총이라는 강아지인데요. 아마 그 5년 동안 누군가가 찾아서 잘 키우다가 그다음에 동물보호소로 보낸 것 같습니다. 왜냐하면 없던 마이크로칩이 하나 발견이 됐대요. 이 마이크로칩이 있으면은 스캐닝을 해가지고 이제 누가 주인이고 어디서 사는지 이런 걸 알 수 있는데 그런데 이제 원래 주인은 아니었습니다. 마이크로칩을 플랜팅했던 게.
Yes, and he was found stray. He was found behind this garage, a truck stop. So something had happened. Either he'd run away again or something had happened to the owner.
그래요. 정말 기적적으로 재회를 하게 됐네요. Chong was reunited with the family.
Meaning they met again. If you unite, you come together. If you reunite, you come together again.
네, 재회했다, 다시 만났다. What about to vanish?
Well, if you vanish, you're not going to meet up because you've disappeared. You've gone.
사라졌다 할 때 you vanished. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A missing dog named Chong has been joyfully reunited with his Nebraska family 5 years after vanishing. Following his discovery at a truck stop, more than 1,000 kilometers away from home. Well, that's it for today's headlines with Paul Matthews.
Korea has logged an average of 7.8 tropical nights so far this year, the highest figure since the National Observation Network was established in 1973.
올해 우리나라 평균 열대야 일수는 7.8일로 전국 기상 관측을 시작한 1973년 이래 역대 1위를 기록했습니다. All right, so this is just up till now. It's not for the entire summer season because we're just in the middle of it.
Right.
But tell us more.
Right. So it was recorded. So 7.8 nights recorded between June 1st and July 27th. So this is according to the Korea Meteorological Administration. And they're saying that this prolonged heat wave is being driven by hot, humid air associated with the North Pacific High. And they're also saying temperatures are expected to remain very extreme with daytime highs. I looked at the temperatures expected for next week and it's not good. They're saying
still
that
high, right?
It's still very high. They're saying that it's going to be anywhere between 33 and 39 degrees Celsius through the first week of August. Of course, Daegu is known for being very hot during the summer. Daegu is forecast to reach 39 degrees daily, approaching its all-time record of 40 degrees, which was set back in 1942.
그래요. 지난 6월 1일부터 그다음에 어제 7월 8일 기준 봤을 때 열대야수가 7.8일이라고 합니다. 바로 그 전날도 이제 27일 기준으로 했을 때도 7.1일. 그래서 그때도 마찬가지로 지금까지 가장 긴 열대야수, 가장 이제 많은 열대야수를 지금 올해 기록하고 있는데요. The last time we had so many tropical nights was in 1994, I believe. And it was, very, very hot back then.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had a very hot summer last year as well.
Yeah.
Maybe this year we'll be seeing more tropical nights altogether.
It seems to be, I think every year we're seeing some sort of record being broken.
Yeah,
And it's just
yeah.
getting hotter and hotter. Yeah.
그래요. 자, 계속해서 이 열대야 일수가 늘어나고 있는 게 어쩔 수 없는 현실인 것 같기도 하면서 어떻게 하면 좀 다시 옛날처럼 열대야 일수가 좀 줄어들 수 있을까 하는 고민도 같이 하게 되는 것 같아요. 자, 기록하다 영어 표현으로 to log.
Yeah. When you're logging something, it can mean that you're writing down or maybe electronically putting in information into some sort of official chronological record, or it can also mean you're achieving or reaching a specific amount of time, distance, or some sort of milestone.
Exactly. 자, 그래서 log 이렇게 쓰는데요. 기록하다라는 의미가 있어서 log 하고 나서 무언가 숫자가 뒤에 나올 수도 있고 아니면은 무엇을 기록하는지 그 대상이 나올 수도 있죠.
Yeah.
In this case, we're looking at Korea logging 7.8 tropical nights so far this summer.
Yeah.
And it could be longer by the
Who
end of
knows?
summer. Who knows? Yeah.
It could be the entire month.
Oh my goodness. What about National Observation Network?
Yeah, so this is referring to a nationwide interconnected system of stations, perhaps sensors, or some sort of technologies that's used to systematically monitor, collect, and transmit data about the physical environment. In this case, it would be about the weather.
그래요. National Observation Network가 전국 기상 관측망이라는 뜻입니다. 그래서 평균 열대야수가 지금까지 7.8일이라는 거고요. Oh, I'm sorry. It was from June 1st to July 27th,
Yeah,
right?
the
Yes.
27th. Yes.
그래요. 그래서 6월 1일부터 7월 27일 기준으로 지금 이렇게나 많은 열대야가 평균적으로 나타나고 있습니다.
Yeah.
지역에 따라서 좀 더 많은 지역도 있고 좀 더 적은 지역도 있겠지만 평균이 그러네요.
We've been feeling it because I'm sure a lot of people, if you do have air conditioners, you've probably kept it on at night.
All right. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Korea has logged an average of 7.8 tropical nights so far this year, the highest figure since the National Observation Network was established in 1973. Now let's move on to the second headline.
Korea welcomed nearly 2 million foreign tourists in June, bringing the total number of international tourist arrivals in the first half of 2026 to more than 10 million, according to the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism.
문화체육관광부는 지난 6월 한국을 방문한 외국인 관광객이 200만 명에 육박하면서 올해 상반기 누적 방한 외국인 관광객 수가 1,000만 명을 넘어섰다고 발표했습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, I was in Myeongdong this past weekend,
Yep.
and there were a lot of foreign tourists. I couldn't hear Korean.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of English being spoken, and
Chinese, I guess.
Chinese
Yep.
being spoken. And what I thought was very interesting compared to previous years or past years was that there were foreign tourists from many different countries around the world. But yes, the government, according to government data, they said that 1.99 million foreign tourists were welcomed in Korea in June, bringing the first half arrivals to a record 10.79 million. That's up 21.3% from a year earlier. China remained the largest source of visitors, followed by Japan and Taiwan, while arrivals from North America, Europe, and Southeast Asia also increased. Foreign visitors' spending remained strong, with card purchases reaching 2.05 trillion won in June and 10.04 trillion won in the first half, which is a 50.8% year-on-year jump. The number of travelers using regional airports also surged, and they said visitor satisfaction improved with more tourists venturing beyond the Seoul metropolitan area, which is good news, I think, because there's a lot more to see outside of Seoul. And the Culture Ministry credited the growth to the continued global popularity of K-culture and pledged continued support for tourism nationwide.
K-culture가 정말 그냥 한때 왔다 가는 트렌드가 아니에요.
Yeah.
It's here to stay.
Yeah, and I think there was also a process where there was the build-up as well.
Yeah, definitely. 그러다 보니까 이제 매해 이렇게 외국인 관광객도 늘고 있고요. 코로나 때 뭐 잠시 좀 주춤했지만
Yes.
다시.
But that was global.
That's true. It's not just Korea. Yeah. 그러네요. Good point. 자, 그래요. 그래서 외국인 관광객 수가 이제 올해 1,000만 명 벌써 상반기에 넘어섰고 그 중에서 이제 중국 관광객이 가장 많았고요. 그다음에 일본 관광객도 상당히 많았습니다. Alright, let's have a look at this expression. Korea welcomed a lot of foreign tourists.
That's right. And that means to greet someone in a very polite, friendly, or glad manner upon their arrival.
이게 그 사실 말 그대로 하면 한국은 외국인 관광객을 환영했습니다. 이게 이상하잖아요. 뉴스에서 갑자기 환영했다가 나오면 이걸 어떻게 해석하면 더 자연스러우냐면 이만큼의 외국인 관광객이 한국을 찾았습니다.
Yep.
이 얘기예요. 근데 영어식으로는 이렇게 말해도 같은 의미가 됩니다. 자, 그 다음에 이거 좀 긴데요. Bringing the total number of international tourist arrivals to
something.
10
To a
million.
figure, right? And that means you're adding an amount to an existing count so that the final sum reaches a specific figure.
Bringing the total number to 그다음에 number라고 하면은 총 이만큼이 됐다라는 얘기예요. 그래서 6월 달에만 200만 명의 외국인 관광객이 한국을 찾아서 지금까지 상반기의 외국인 관광객 수가 지금까지 1,000만 명을 넘어섰다.
Yeah.
So the figure in June brought the total number of international tourists to 10 million in the first half.
Yeah. So if you have 5 cakes,
Yeah.
you add more, you add 2 more, and you bring the total number to 7. Yeah.
그래요. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Korea welcomed nearly 2 million foreign tourists in June, bringing the total number of international tourist arrivals in the first half of 2026 to more than 10 million, according to the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism.
UK Prime Minister Andy Burnham has appointed his first cabinet, making history with the country's first gender-balanced ministry, in stark contrast to the political landscape less than 50 years ago.
앤디 버넘 영국 신임 총리가 구성한 첫 내각에서 영국 역사상 처음으로 남녀 장관의 성비가 동일해졌습니다. 이는 불과 50년도 되지 않은 과거의 영국 정치 지형과 비교하면 큰 변화라는 평가입니다. Tell us more, Karen.
Yeah, so Andy Burnham has unveiled his first cabinet, and women make up half of all senior ministers for the first time in UK history. And the reshuffle also gives greater representation to lawmakers from northwest England. And that's important because it's Burnham's political stronghold. While 22% of cabinet members were, they say, privately educated, and more than half attended Oxford or Cambridge. 4 ministers come from ethnic minority backgrounds, accounting for 14% of the cabinet, roughly in line with the UK's population. And while the new lineup reflects greater gender diversity, it also highlights the continued dominance of elite educational backgrounds in British politics.
그래요. 그래서 지금 얘기하고 있는 게 남녀 그 성비가 정확히 반반이 됐다라고 했는데요. 그 프라임 미니스터를 포함해서
Yeah.
내각 전부를 얘기하고 있는 거고 총 28명의 그 내각 중에서 14명이 여성인 겁니다. 근데 예전에 이제 마거렛 thatcher 총리가 최초의 영국 여성 총리가 됐잖아요.
Yeah.
1979년에 총리가 됐는데 총리는 여성이었지만 내각 중에 한 명도 여성이 없었습니다. 본인만 여성이고 나머지는 전부 다 남성이었고 꽤 오랫동안 재임했고요. 그 다음에 이제 존 메이저 영국 총리가 있었는데 마찬가지로 여성은 한 명도 내각에 포함되어 있지 않았고 그 다음에 이제 그 다음 영국 총리가 돼서야 forget his name now. 토니 블레어였던
Yes.
것 같아요. 네, 그때부터 이제 97년이었나? 그때부터는 이제 여성이 기용이 되기 시작했는데
There's been a steady rise.
그래요.
The previous administration, I think, there was 46% of the cabinet ministers were
Okay.
women. So, there's been a rise, but it's now like equal number.
Yeah, exactly. 14 out of the 28 ministers are female. All right. So let's have a look at gender balanced.
Yeah. So that would refer to a situation or an organization or a group where men and women are represented in equal numbers or roughly equal numbers.
네, gender가 성별이고 balanced가 균형 잡혔다는 의미니까요. 남녀 비율이 똑같다. 남녀 같은 숫자다. In stark contrast to something.
Yeah. And that would be an idiom that's used to show that two things are strikingly, completely, or perhaps visually opposite from one another.
네, 무언가와는 아주 큰 극명한 대조를 이룬다라는 의미로 한 50년 전만 해도 정말 여성이 한 명도 없었던 내각으로 구성된 그런 이제 미니스트리였는데 이제는 많이 달라졌죠. 네, 그런 얘기를 하고 있는 겁니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. UK Prime Minister Andy Burnham has appointed his first cabinet, making history with the country's first gender-balanced ministry, in stark contrast to the political landscape less than 50 years ago. Let's move on to the next headline.
A solo sailor has been dramatically rescued near Hawaii after drifting helplessly in the Pacific Ocean for 30 days, surviving by licking condensation off plastic bags and eating oatmeal, stray fish, and squid.
혼자 요트를 탄 채 태평양에서 30일 동안 무방비로 표류하던 한 남성이 하와이 인근 해상에서 극적으로 구조됐습니다. 이 남성은 살아남기 위해 비닐봉지에 맺힌 물방울을 핥아 마시거나 오트밀, 배 위로 떨어진 물고기와 오징어 등을 먹으며 버텼다고 증언했습니다. Okay, so this American man, he was out at sea for a month.
Yeah.
With nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
A scary story.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was drifting. He was stranded. What happened?
So he was on a disabled yacht for about 30 days before being rescued near Hawaii. His name is Kai Sato. He's 39 years old. He set sail from California in early June, but his yacht's mast snapped and his navigation phone died, leaving him stranded and at the mercy of ocean currents. He survived, as we mentioned, by collecting condensation for drinking water and eating oatmeal along with fish and squid that landed on the boat. After nearly a month adrift, he reached a shipping lane between California and Hawaii where a passing container ship spotted and rescued him. Despite the ordeal, he says he's already planning another solo voyage, this time to the Philippines in a larger boat.
Okay. 자, 30일 동안 표류가 된 남성입니다. 그래서 그 내비게이션 시스템, 그 라디오로 커뮤니케이션 할 수 있는 것도 고장났고,
Yeah.
그 다음에 이제, 그 마스트, 닷도 부러지고 그러다
Yeah.
보니까 정말 그냥 떠다닌 거예요.
You're stranded.
태평양에서. 예, 그러다가 극적으로 30일 만에 구조가 됐는데, 이 버틴 얘기를 이제 증언을 한 겁니다. 내가 이렇게 버텼다. 자, 근데 혼자 갔었죠? He was a solo sailor.
That's right. So if you're solo something, that means that you are doing it by yourself. So a solo sailor is a person who is operating, navigating, and managing a sailing vessel completely alone.
네, solo는 형용사예요. 그래서 solo 무엇 이렇게 붙여야 됩니다. 예를 들자면은 a solo performer, a solo musician.
Yeah.
이렇게 하면은 이제 혼자 연주하는 사람이니까 솔로이스트랑 같은 말이죠.
Yes.
그런 식으로 쓰는 게 영어식인데 콩글리시에는 사실 그냥 솔로를 명사처럼 나는 솔로다 이런 식으로 얘기를 하는데 사실 영어로 I'm solo 이러면은 이름이 솔로인가? 한 솔로인가?
Han Solo, yeah.
이렇게 생각할 수 있어요. 왜냐면은 이게 말이 안 되거든요. 이 형용사이기 때문에 I'm a solo performer or I will be doing something solo. I'll be sailing solo.
I'm going solo.
그렇게 표현할 수 있어요. 그래서 솔로를 그렇게 씁니다. 자, 그 다음에는요, helplessly.
Helplessly. So this is an adverb that means doing something without the ability to act, protect oneself, or change a situation. So you are unable to do something.
helpless 하다라는 것은요, 어떻게 할 수가 없다는 뜻이에요. 굉장히 뭐 속수무책이 될 수도 있고, 무력한 게 될 수도 있고요. 정말 뭐 어떠한 도움도 받지 못한 상태에서 뭐뭘 할 때 do something helplessly 라고 합니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. A solo sailor has been dramatically rescued near Hawaii after drifting helplessly in the Pacific Ocean for 30 days, surviving by licking condensation off plastic bags and eating oatmeal, stray fish, and squid. Now, here's our final headline.
A man and a woman who became best friends while working at a UK airport discovered they are biological siblings after an emotional phone call revealed matching adoption histories and birth details.
영국의 한 공항에서 같이 일하며 절친한 친구가 된 남성과 여성이 실은 친남매임이 밝혀져 화제입니다. 이들은 우연히 한 통의 전화에서 나눈 진솔한 대화를 통해 과거 일치하는 입양 이력 및 출생 정보를 확인하면서 이 사실을 알게 됐다는 후문입니다. 자, 그러면 일단 이 두 사람의 이름부터 좀 알려주시면 어떨까요?
Yeah, the story gave me goosebumps.
okay.
So this is Dave Green and Andrea Urmston's story.
자, 일단은 지금 보면 성이 달라요.
Yes.
그렇죠? 한 명은 Green 씨고 또 한 사람은 Armstrong 씨이기 때문에
Yeah.
성만 놓고 보면은 뭐 전혀 가족인지 뭔지 알 수가 없습니다.
Right.
Please
but,
continue.
So what happened was, this Dave Green, he was adopted as a baby. And he met Andrea Urmston while working at Manchester Airport. In 2005, they became quick friends. And the truth emerged during a phone conversation when Dave Green mentioned that he had been adopted, prompting Urmston to reveal that she had a brother who had been adopted with the same birth name and family surname. And after confirming their birth date and hospital matched, they were reunited with their birth mother who had spent decades searching for her son. And now they live together, making up for their years that they had lost and they had lived apart.
This is amazing.
It is an amazing story. And I mean, working at the airport, there are thousands of people that work at an airport, you know? But just the fact that they became friends and they were able to connect and become friends and find out, hey, I have a brother who was
이게 끌리는 게 있나 봐요.
Yeah.
자, 어떻게 된 거냐면은요. 이게 맨체스터 공항에서 버스터미널 관리를 했던 데이브와 그다음에 자판기를 채우는 일을 했던 안드레아가 2년 전부터 마주치면서 그냥 금방 친구가 됐어요. 뭔가 좀 통했나 보죠? 그래서 뭐 친구로 이렇게 2년 동안 지내다가 이제 점점 깊은 얘기, 뭐 비밀스러운 얘기도 공유할 수 있는 그런 가까운 사이가 돼서 어느 날 데이브가 나 사실은 어렸을 때 입양됐었다. 그래서 내 지금 이름은 데이브 그린이지만 원래 내 이름은 스튜어트 프라우드러브였어. 이렇게 알려줬어요. 그랬더니 안드레아가 깜짝 놀랐던 게 영국에서는 결혼하면 남편의 성을 따르잖아요. 지금은 안드레아 엄스톤이지만 원래 이름이 안드레아 프라우드러브였어요.
Yeah.
근데 이 성이요 흔치 않은 성입니다. 프라우드러브. 그래서 안드레아가 잠깐만, 데이브, 너 이름이 원래 프라우드러브라고? 나 지금까지 우리 가족 외에 아무도 이 성을 가지고 있는 사람을 본 적이 없고 옛날에 우리 엄마가 나한테 오빠가 있다고 알려줬는데 입양됐었다고 했거든. 우리 확인해보자.
Yeah.
그래서 확인을 했더니 맞는 거예요. 이렇게 친오빠를 찾게 된 겁니다.
Shivers,
그러니까요.
right?
친오빠와 친여동생이 이렇게 2년 동안 친구로 지내다가 알고 보니 친남매였다는 거 너무너무 신기합니다. Biological siblings 볼까요?
Yeah, biological siblings. So siblings means your brothers and sisters. Biological siblings means you share that genetic connection. You have the same biological parents. So
Exactly.
you are genetically related by blood.
So if you say, how many siblings do you have? That means how many brothers and sisters do you have? Siblings가 바로 이렇게 형제, 자매 다
It doesn't
포함하는
matter, yeah.
네, 포함하는 거고요. 그다음에 biological은 생물학적인. 그래서 남매, 친형제 다 됩니다. Biological siblings. 여기서 이제 만약에 두 형제였으면 biological brothers.
Yeah.
만약에 둘 다 여성이었으면 biological sisters 했을 텐데 남녀니까 그냥 biological siblings라고 했고요. 그다음에 emotional.
Yeah, emotional. So it's an adjective that relates to intense human feelings, psychological states, or reactions.
감정적이라는 의미인데 이 전화 통화가 emotional 했다라는 것은 사실 이게 데이브한테는 굉장히 비밀스러운 얘기고 아무한테나 공유하는 사실이 아니었기
Yeah.
때문에 이 안드레아랑도 2년 동안 친분을 쌓고 나서야 힘들게 꺼낸 얘기잖아요.
course.
그러니까 거기에 어떤 이제 깊은 감정들이 있었을 거예요. 보신내는 뭐 약점이라고 생각할 수도 있고.
Of course. It's something that you don't share with everyone.
그렇죠. 근데 또 그거를 들었을 때 안드레아가 잠깐만. Dave, what? I had a brother and his name was Stuart Proudlove, blah, blah, blah 이러면서 아마 많은 감정이 오갔을 것 같아요.
Yeah.
그래서 emotional conversation이라고 할 수 있습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A man and a woman who became best friends while working at a UK airport discovered there are biological siblings after an emotional phone call reveals matching adoption histories and birth details. Well, that's it for today's headlines.
Korea has officially entered a super-age society with residents aged 65 and older, including foreign nationals, accounting for more than 20% of the total population for the first time.
외국인을 포함한 우리나라 65세 이상 고령 인구가 처음으로 전체 인구의 20%를 넘어서면서 한국이 공식적으로 초고령 사회에 접어들었습니다. So, for our listeners who've been following the news in regards to being a super-aged society, they might think, but 2 years ago, didn't Korea enter this super-aged society in 2024? And that's correct, but that was only for Korean nationals. Now we're including foreigners who also live in Korea. All of them combined, still more than 20% of the people are aged over 65.
Yeah, and that's significant because typically when countries, not just Korea, but most countries in the world, when they do accept foreigners into their country for residency or citizenship, they typically do look at your age. And one of the biggest things is they want younger people to enter the nation. So the fact that this factors in all those foreigners, as you mentioned, and it's still at the point of 70%, it is quite significant.
Yeah, in fact, if we just look at the foreign population itself, that's growing too.
Yes.
All right, so let's have a look at Korea entering this state or, this society that we call a super-aged society.
Yeah, anytime you enter anything, it means that you were previously outside, but now you are going or are inside. So it's a passage, a movement from one place to another, but from being outside of something to being inside of something or not being a part of something to now being a part of something. So they weren't a part of this 70% before, but now they are.
진입한다. 라는 뜻이 있고요. 우리가 일상 대화 속에서는 어디에 이제 들어서다 라는 뜻으로 you may enter, 들어오셔도 됩니다. 이런 의미가 될 텐데 지금 여기서는 이제 초고령 사회에 본격적으로 우리가 진입을 했다라는 뜻이 되겠죠. 2024년 같은 경우에는 이제 우리나라의 주민등록 인구가 65세 이상이 20%를 넘어서서 그때는 이제 순수하게 우리나라 국적을 가진 그 국민들이 어떻게 보면 이제 초고령 사회에 접어들었다. 그런 뉴스가 있기는 했었는데 이번에는 UN에서 말하는 전체 살고 있는 외국인 포함해서 전체 인구가 이렇게 65세 이상이 20%를 넘는 경우예요. So this is sort of the first time, according to the UN standards, that we've entered this super-aged society. Now, what about accounting for something?
When you account for something, then you're factoring in to the amount of something. If you look into accounting, then in the middle of that, you see the word count. So literally, if you're counting something, then you're a part of the count. And in the same sort of way, when we think of accounting, we think of like paying taxes and money and numbers for the most part. So when you're accounting for more than 20% of something, then you're part of the factor of that.
그렇죠. Accounting for something 그러면 얼마만큼의 비율을 차지한다라는 뜻인데요. 65 years old and older in Korea now account for more than 20% of the total population. 전체 인구의 20% 이상이 65세 이상이다. 그래서 그걸 차지한다라는 뜻으로 account for more than 20%. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Korea has officially entered a super-aged society, with residents aged 65 and older, including foreign nationals, accounting for more than 20% of the total population for the first time. Now let's move on to the movie industry. This is headline number 2.
Korean films spearheaded a dramatic cinema industry recovery in the first half, driving box office revenue to nearly 580 billion won, over 57 million admissions.
상반기 한국 영화 전체 매출액이 5,800억 원에 육박하고 관객 수는 5,700만 명을 넘어서는 등 한국 영화가 올해 상반기 국내 영화 업계 회복을 견인한 것으로 집계됐습니다. Okay, so overall, we saw 580 billion won in sales.
It was. And in comparison to a year ago, it's a 41.9, let's say 42% increase. So the numbers were not quite as good last year, but it has jumped by leaps and bounds this time around. And one of the reasons is the mega hit film, The King's Warden, which has generated 163 billion won.
왕사남이라고 많이들 줄여서 얘기했죠.
I haven't seen
왕과
that
사는
yet.
남자. 못 보셨어요?
Yeah. Is that worth seeing? Have you seen it?
너무 재밌어요.
Okay.
네, 저도 봤습니다. Your son loves history. He's a bit young, I guess, to watch this, but I feel like, you know, because Jason's son is like a history buff, a history genius for his age. He's what?
9 years old.
9 years old.
10 in Korean
Yeah,
years,
exactly. So he's still very young, but he knows so much about Korean history, loves history. So I feel like you should maybe take him in a few years' time. There are some scenes, of course, that I don't know if he's able to watch, but nonetheless, I think he would appreciate it in a different light because he knows the history.
Yeah.
Maybe he can tell you about it beforehand, give you some spoilers. 자, 그래요. 왕과 사는 남자 덕분에 더 그런 것도 있겠지만 우리나라의 전체 영화 매출이 5,800억 원이었어요. 올 상반기에. 그중에서 한국 영화 매출액이요 3,700억 원이었습니다. So out of the 580 billion won in movie sales this first half, 370 billion won was from Korean movies.
Yeah.
So that's a big percentage.
Absolutely.
자, 표현을 볼까요? 그래서 Korean films spearheaded this recovery.
Yeah, to spearhead something is to lead something. And if you think about a spear, there's basically two parts to a spear. You have the body, the pole, or the stick, and then at the very front end of the spear, you'll have a pointy end, usually made of a rock back in the old days, or perhaps a metal knife-like object, something that's sharp. But that's the front. And if you're at the front of something, then you're sort of leading something. You're bringing everyone else behind you along with you. So to spearhead something, it means you're or leading something.
To spearhead something은 무언가를 주도한다라는 뜻인데요. 전체 영화 매출 5,800억 원 중에서 한국 영화의 매출액이 3,700억 원이었으니까 굉장히 큰 부분을 차지했고 그 덕분에 우리 전체 영화 매출액이 이렇게 큰 액수를 기록했다고 볼 수 있겠죠. 그래서 주도했다. 그 앞에는 이런 게 있었다. Spearheaded something. 표현은 이렇게 하고요. What's box office revenue?
So box office, we're talking about movie theaters as opposed to watching a movie on TV at home. So the revenue from that would be the sales, the amount of money that was brought in, not the net amount of money that you keep after your expenses. This is the amount of money that people have paid to the box office to watch movies in the theater.
Right. box office 그러면은 이제 영화와 관련된 거죠. revenue라는 것은 수익이 될 수도 있고요. 그렇기 때문에 box office revenue라고 하면은 이 영화 업계에서의 그 매출액을 얘기합니다.
Back in the old days, I guess nowadays, when you're buying tickets at the movie theater, for the most part, you're buying at an electronic kiosk and pushing buttons. But a long time ago, outside the theater or attached to it, there was kind of like a box where an attendant would sit and, collect your money for the ticket to get in. So it was basically like a box office.
Yes, exactly. 실제로 옛날에는 영화관 앞에서 이렇게 박스 형태의 매표소가 있었어요. 거기서 나온 표현이겠죠. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Korean films spearheaded a dramatic cinema industry recovery in the first half, driving box office revenue to nearly 580 billion won with over 57 million admissions.
The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency has issued guidelines advising against travel to Southeast Asia due to a surge in dengue fever and measles cases during the summer holiday season.
여름 휴가철을 맞아 동남아시아를 중심으로 댕기열과 홍역이 확산하면서 질병관리청이 이 지역 여행에 각별한 주의를 당부하는 지침을 발표했습니다. Okay, so it's not just Southeast Asia, but a lot of cases have come out of there. Tell us more.
Yeah, and several different diseases. It's dengue fever, something called chikungunya, as well as the Zika virus. A lot of these are mosquito-borne illnesses. So places like that, it can't run rampant. And the countries in specific that they do mention, Vietnam, Thailand, the Philippines, Indonesia, as well as Malaysia. But they've also flagged some other places like Washington State and 10 different provinces in China as well. Also New Mexico mentioned in there. So this is spreading globally.
네, 질병관리청이 이 8월 여름 휴가철 상위 10개 해외 여행지 감염병 지도를 발표했습니다. 그래서 이러이러한 나라들에서 현재 이런 감염병이 돌고 있으니 주의를 하시라는 거고요. 그 중에서 특히 이제 좀 고위험 감염병 주의 지역으로는 미국의 일부 지역도 포함되어 있고요. 지금 말씀하신 것처럼 약간 그 중부에 딱 걸쳐진 지역인 것 같습니다. 그래서 you said it's Washington?
Yeah, Washington State.
Washington State를 포함해서 일부 지역이 있고요. 그 다음에는 이제 동남아시아 지역도 많이 포함이 되어 있습니다. Alright, so let's have a look at some expressions. To issue something.
To issue something is to put something out there. Sometimes we have issues of magazines or issues of comic books that are kind of sent out to the public to be able to read or to be able to consume. Same sort of way, if you issue a warning, then you're putting this warning out there for people to take in and understand that, okay, I need to know this.
우리 주의보나 경보를 발령할 때도요, 이 동사 issue를 쓰는데, 이 발령하다의 의미도 있을 수 있고, 지금처럼 이렇게 어떤 이제 주의하라는 내용의 발표가 있었으니까 발표하다가 될 수도 있는 겁니다. 아주 공식적인 표현이에요. You wouldn't just say the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency said, or they, yeah, because you can say that, but that's too casual.
Too basic.
Yeah, exactly. 그래서
It's almost like literally, if you take the word issued, then what's in there is issue. It's like something is an issue.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
something that should be ignored. It's like, hey, there's an issue here that you should know about.
네. 여기서는 이슈 뒤에 guidelines가 나왔으니까요. 이러한 이제 지침서를 발표했다. 이렇게 보시면 되겠고요. What about due to a surge in something?
Well, due to is, this is the reason, and surge meaning like a sudden burst of something. It could be a sudden burst of energy. It could be a sudden burst, in this case, in terms of medical cases, but it could be like just a sudden burst of something.
Due to는 무엇으로 인해서 a surge in something은 급증. 그래서 무엇의 급증으로 인해 due to a surge in 그리고 뒤에 나온 dengue fever and measles가 나왔죠. 댕기열 그리고 홍역 등등의 사례가 많이 발생해서 그렇습니다. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency has issued guidelines advising against travel to Southeast Asia due to a surge in dengue fever and measles cases during the summer holiday season. Let's move on to the next headline.
Elon Musk's net worth has plummeted, resulting in a staggering loss of approximately $750 billion in a single month after severe stock market corrections at SpaceX and Tesla.
스페이스X와 테슬라의 주가가 급락하면서 일론 머스크의 순자산이 급감해 한 달 만에 거의 7,500억 달러에 달하는 엄청난 손실을 입었습니다. So this is his net worth, his assets.
Yeah, his assets. It's not the amount of cash that he has, but if he were to sell everything that he owned, then this is the amount of money that it would be worth, or theoretically should be worth.
At the end of last year, I think it was, Elon Musk became the first trillionaire. Or maybe was it the start of this year? Well,
Yeah.
anyway, he became the world's
Recently.
first trillionaire not too long ago. And that was also based on his net worth.
Yes.
But he's no longer a trillionaire.
I think he mentioned on X, or the former Twitter, which he also owns, that you can refer to him as a former trillionaire. I think he meant that with tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, exactly. 그래요. 이제 트릴리언의 세계 최초의 트릴리언가 됐다라는 뉴스를 저희가 그렇게 오래되지 않은 뭐 한 몇 달 전쯤에 전해드렸던 것 같은데요. 일론 머스크가 Now I'm a former trillionaire라고 약간 농담식으로 말을 하면서 자신의 자산 가치가 그만큼 이제 하락했다라고 하는데요. 그래도 지금 아직 세계 1위 부호죠?
Oh, yeah. Still the richest person in the world. And, you know, sometimes just wrapping your head around how much money that is. Like my wife, when we talk about dollars in this amount.
Does she have $1 trillion?
She doesn't, but she sometimes doesn't understand how much that is. Like in Korean money, because there's always like a weird translation because Koreans use the word man, whereas for us that's 10,000 and we go in 3-0 cycles, whereas
Okay.
Koreans go in 4. So I want to say in Korean, this would be like 천조, is it?
Oh, trillion?
Yeah. like not the number, but the amount of money
Oh my gosh,
that
I
it
have
would
to do
be.
the math. It's probably...
Because
let me
1조
double check.
is $1 billion to my knowledge, right?
Don't ask me about numbers, but I will get back to you on that one.
Or one of our listeners can inform us so that it's correct. But I find it difficult to translate like large Korean amounts of money compared to American dollars. Once again, and I think the biggest reason is because of the word man. Because
네네네.
because Koreans, you know, we say like $10,000 as Koreans. They have a word for $10,000, right?
맞아요. 1 trillion은 1조가 맞습니다. 그런데 trillionaire라는 거는 우리말로는 이제 조만장자라고 하는데요. 거기서 만은 그 숫자 만을 말하는 게 아니라 그냥 이렇게 부르는 거죠.
Okay, yeah.
네, 조만장자. 그 조만장자 타이틀을 잃게 됐다라는 건데요. But he's still the richest man in the world. He's not, you know, going to starve or anything like that.
No, he'll be fine.
Nobody needs to 그러니까 본인도 농담을 이렇게 하는
Yeah,
거잖아요.
yeah.
네. 아, 저 이제 트릴리언에 아니네요. 이러면서 여유가 있는 모습이었는데, 자, 왜 그랬냐면, 스페이스X와 테슬라의 주가가 하락했기 때문입니다. Staggering loss.
Staggering is a word that we can use to say that something was an amount or a certain news that kind of set us off balance. And typically when we talk about staggering, think about if you're walking, but maybe you're intoxicated and you can't walk straight because you're kind of off balance a little bit.
Yeah.
And in the same, then we describe that as saying, oh, he's kind of staggering home. He's not walking home normally. He's kind of off balance. But if you hear news that is so shocking, then you might stagger. Like
Yeah.
you're going to you can't stand straight. And this is why some people say, you might want to sit down before I tell you this because, you might fall over when you hear this news because it's so staggering.
Yeah, exactly. 이 원래 staggering이라는 것은 몸을 좀 비틀거리는 거예요. 그래서 그만큼 깜짝 놀랄 만하다라는 뜻으로 a staggering loss. 엄청난 손실이 있었는데 그게 무려 7,500억 달러. 달하는 그만큼의 이제 손실이 발생했다는 거예요. 네, 그 순자산이 그렇다라는 겁니다. The net worth가 그런 거고요. Why? It was because of severe stock market corrections.
Severe is something that's extreme. A stock market correction is usually when a stock price goes down. But what it is people see the stock price of something going up and then they want to cash in. They want to, it doesn't become real until you sell it for a profit. Otherwise, it's just on paper. So they call that a correction where everyone is kind of selling off the stock in order to make profits of it. The other way you can look at it is sometimes people look at things like SpaceX, like Tesla, and when you look at a company and analyze what it's worth, you typically look at the amount of sales that the company is making and how much the company is earning. But sometimes companies are kind of seen not for what they are making, but what they might in the future. And a lot of things like Tesla and SpaceX, I think people say that because they're not actually worth what the stock is. And so you could say that it's kind of correcting down to what it should be because the speculation is taken away.
지금 이걸 어떻게 계산하느냐에 따라서 조금 달리 해석을 할 수 있는데요. 어쨌든 이제 주가가 하락한 거는 사실이고, 그다음에 그것이 어떤 증시의 조정에 의해서 하락이 됐다라고 하는 게 지금 이 표현이에요. Severe, 심각한, stock market, 증시, corrections, 조정. 근데 이제 쉽게 말해서 지금 이게 시가총액이 하락했다라는 거고 또 그걸 어떻게 계산하느냐에 따라서 하락한 이 자산의 가치가 7,500억 달러가 아니라 정말 한 1조 달러에 달한다라고 보는 그런 기사들도 있긴 하더라고요. 계산법은 다 조금씩 상이한 것 같은데 어쨌든 굉장히 많은 자산의 손실, 하락이 있었습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Elon Musk's net worth has plummeted, resulting in a staggering loss of approximately $750 billion in a single month after severe stock market corrections at SpaceX and Tesla. Let's move on to the final headline.
A poodle named Bailey has been rescued alive after surviving 29 days trapped under the rubble of a collapsed building caused by devastating twin earthquakes in Venezuela last month.
지난달 베네수엘라에서 발생한 대규모 연쇄 지진 당시 무너진 건물 잔해 아래 갇힌 채 지금까지 29일 버틴 베일리라는 이름의 푸들이 극적으로 구조됐습니다. Tell us about the dog and its survival.
Yeah, so the dog survived after almost a month of time, and the dog itself was actually in the arms of its owner's mother.
Grandmother.
Grandmother and mother together were actually found there.
I see.
Yeah, and there was one owner that was surviving. She was an 11-year-old girl.
Yeah.
So the 11-year-old girl had lost her mother and grandmother in the disaster. But I guess one small consolation is she was able to be reunited with her pet dog.
11살 여자아이의 반려견 베일리라는 푸들인데요. 근데 너무나 안타깝게도 이 지진으로 인해서 이 11살 소녀의 어머니와 할머니 모두 다 목숨을 잃게 됐다라고 하는데 놀라운 것은 베일리가 발견된 곳이 바로 이 할머니와 어머니 두 분의 품 안에서 한 달을 버텼다라는 겁니다. 떠나지 않았대요. 물론 이제, 움직이기가 쉽지 않기도 했겠지만, 그래도 거기에서 계속 있어서 더욱더 이제 사람들에게 어떻게 보면 감동을 주고 있는 사연인데, 다행히 베일리는 건강하다고 하죠. 여러 가지 여건에 비하면은.
Despite going without food and water
그렇죠.
for that long.
물론 여러 가지 치료를 받기는 해야 되겠지만 그래도 비교적 건강하다고 합니다. 자, Bailey was found under rubble.
Rubble is when a building or let's say maybe even a mountain or something is destroyed, then you have the smaller pieces and chunks of things, sort of like gravel and rock or things that kind of could cover other things. And we call that rubble.
무너진 건물의 잔해를 rubble이라고 합니다. debris랑 비슷해요. 자, 그 다음에 devastating.
Something that is devastating is certainly very negative. And something that is maybe been destroyed, or it could be something that just is so painful to think about as well. But it's a tremendous loss of some sort.
So here we're talking about the devastating earthquakes of Venezuela. 지난달에 있었던 파괴력이 엄청났던 지진 얘기를 하고 있는 건데 그렇게 파괴적인 것을 말할 때 devastating이라고 말할 수 있고요. 우리가 느낄 때는 I'm devastated 이렇게 얘기를 하죠. 자, 그러면은 너무 절망적이다. 나의 감정 할 때는 ED를 붙인다는 거. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A poodle named Bailey has been rescued alive after surviving 29 days trapped under the rubble of a collapsed building caused by devastating twin earthquakes in Venezuela last month. Well, that's it for the headlines this morning with Jason Lee.